What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we are going to be jumping into Cable issue number 12. And this will be the final issue of the Cable run. Now, this is written by Jerry Dugan, and the art is by Phil Noto. And that's one of the great things about this entire line is they've kept to these two the entire time. And I think a lot of fans of Cable are really going to enjoy how this plays out. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything going on with this line. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into the final issue of Cable, we are picking up with Old Man Cable making his way to Stryfe. And this issue is dropping us directly into the action. And as it stands, Old Man Cable is getting his butt whooped by all of these demons and Stryfe. And Stryfe, believing that he has the upper hand, believing that he might be able to kill Old Man Cable right here and right now, this is when we see the arrival of Cyclops. Along his side is young Cable, because Old Man Cable didn't come here without backup. And with Cyclops blasting Stryfe in the face, Old Man Cable lets him know that those aren't the only individuals that have come. Because Stryfe isn't going to have to go to Krakoa, he's bringing Krakoa to him. And this cues the entrance of Jean Grey and everybody else, plowing their way through demons, just wreaking havoc on everything. And with their arrival on the battlefield, Esme jumps off and she heads directly towards Stryfe. And using her powers, trying to inflict some kind of pain onto him, he simply laughs at her. He laughs at her and welcomes her into his mind to show the true nature of who Stryfe is. Showing this forever war, the battle between Cable and Stryfe. How they have tried to kill themselves all along the timeline for centuries now. Sometimes Cable winning, sometimes Stryfe. But the only thing that is constant is that there is death. There is death, conflict, and chaos. And after Esme witnessed this, after she saw what was inside of Stryfe's head, after she saw the Forever War, her notions about Cable have changed drastically. And this is where we see both Cables make their entrance trying to protect Esme. And in doing so, young man Cable gets thrown to the side. Esme running to his side, letting him know that she looked inside the mind of Stryfe. And she now understands exactly what he does. She hates that he has to do all of this. And we see a really great moment between these two. Because at the end of the day, Cable never really understood why she had any kind of interest in him. But she divulges a little secret that she's been keeping. That secret being that this was always part of a mission. Because they were always worried that he might turn into Stryfe. And because of that worry, they constantly had some kind of telepath nearby him. He was always being constantly observed. But she knew after their first date that he was just a boy. He was just a boy trying to make his way in a world that he didn't understand. And she knew that there was no way he would ever become Stryfe. And now in the heat of everything, she is regretting her decision to break up with him, knowing what he is going to have to do, knowing that path is laid before him. More than anything right now, she just wants to be with him. But obviously this moment can only last for so long because they are in the middle of a battle right now. And Cable, he goes out and starts blasting away. Jean Grey grabbing Esme and telling her that she's got her, that they need to kind of more or less suck it up and help them finish what is going on here. And using their powers together, they end up hitting Stryfe, knocking his helmet off. And this gives them the opportunity, an opportunity to more or less subdue his powers, to put them in a remissive state. And this gives both of our Cables the opportunity that they have been needing. And Stryfe, at first, he's very cocky about this, but then he tries to plead and asks to come to Krakoa, because Krakoa has a rule that anybody who comes there, they get amnesty. All of their crimes are forgiven and they get a fresh start. But neither of the Cables are going to allow this to happen, and pretending that they cannot hear him, both of them pull the trigger, and Stryfe is left with a giant hole in his stomach. And with this, the battle has been won. With all of the demons now retreating, Old Man Cable turns to Young Man Cable and tells him something he already knows, and that's that Stryfe has bodies all across the timeline. More specifically, he has bodies in the future, and that means somebody is going to have to go to the future. Young Cable already knowing that it's his job. Him being the time traveler, he has to go back to his time. It was inevitable. The only issue is the Summers family, they don't know this yet. And so he's going to have to break the news to each and every one of them. Now, usually he would just body slide out and call it a day. But this isn't like any other day. He's going to the future and he probably won't ever see them again. But who knows? He's a time traveler. We could definitely see Young Man Cable making an appearance again. And so we see him saying his goodbyes. Sitting here with Esme, there's so much that he would love to say, but really they sit here and they enjoy this sunset. One more good day, one more good moment before he has to go off and fight this forever war. And no matter how hard that was, going home, saying goodbye to his mom and his father, these were some of the hardest things he's had to do. And he also knew that it would be hard on them, so he called in a favor. He called in Wolverine, had Logan come in and just kind of help break up the tension that is built since his departure, the sadness that is there. If anybody understands loss, it's Wolverine. He's an individual that has had to say goodbye 10 times over anybody else because of how long he has lived. And body sliding back to Old Man Cable, this is where they start their preparation. Old Man Cable giving him a new arm. Young Cable, he really wants to ask a few questions. He wants to know if what he's about to do is going to help them win. Now, Old Man Cable really doesn't want to talk future talk, but Young Cable really, he needs to know. He needs to know what he's about to do. He knows that he has decades of fighting ahead of him. He needs to know if all of this is actually worth it. He needs to know that this all meant something. Now, the whole time, Old Man Cable is trying to ignore him, trying to brush it off because he doesn't want to divulge too much information. But he does give him one thing, one very important thing. And he tells him, you want to know if Krakoa is going to be forever. And he goes on to tell him that the Krakoan age was such a great time for mutant kind, and it changed everything for the better. And Cable changes the future for the better as well. But what this means is that everybody has more to lose. They have to put in the work, because if they slip up in any way, the costs are building. And so what this is really telling us is that Old Man Cable knows the future of Krakoa. He knows exactly what happens. And that could be a big reason that they have kept him out of the main X-Men line. The reason that Old Man Cable had to die temporarily is because everything going on with Moira and Charles Xavier, it would be ruined because Nathaniel actually knows. He knows exactly what the future holds. He knows what happens to Krakoa. He knows how everything plays out. And so I think this run was really meant to just keep Cable out of the loop, to keep him away, because then you introduce a young Cable and he's not a threat to the overall plan. He has no idea what is going on, but you're still getting that super soldier X-Men. And so with this, he body slides to the future. Picking up in the long distant future, he arrives on the battlefield. And with a renewed sense of purpose, he is ready to get at it. He is ready to bring the fight to Stryfe. And as this issue comes to a close, we're shown a house with two parents having two children, one of them with a glowing eye. But it lets us know that that is a story for another time. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I thoroughly enjoyed this Cable run. I think it was a lot of fun. I really do enjoy the young Cable. But I know for a lot of the older fans of Cable, they were really upset with Marvel doing this. And I think this is their way of kind of also rectifying that. Maybe it was a plan all along, or maybe it's a response to fan criticism. But either way, we're getting Old Man Cable back. And that's going to have huge ramifications on everything currently going on with Krakoa. With everything going on with Moira, everything going on with Xavier, with Legion being on the loose, it has never been a better time than to have somebody like Old Man Cable have somebody with his skill set in your arsenal. And so I think this is the perfect time to be bringing him back in, to bring him back into the loop. And I'm super excited to see exactly what's going to transpire now that he's back. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.